Jason Mraz there. It is 18 to 8 here in ABC Goldfields. Danishi Dies with you this morning. Remember the state election? You know, the one where Labor won in complete bloodshed. Also memorable for the quirk in the electoral system that meant an Australian tech guy living in the US won a seat as a member of the mining and pastoral region with just 98 primary votes. Daylight Savings MP Wilson Tucker has been visiting Kalgoorlie Boulder. I caught up with him to see what he's doing here.
Look, I'm here first and foremost as a member for mining and pastoral. I'm sort of taking off the leader of the daylight saving hat and putting the member for mining and pastoral hat on. I think when you come to the region and you do talk to people and you realise there are a lot of issues and opportunities in the region as well. And I think in my mind right now, there are more pressing than daylight saving. So at some stage, I will most likely fulfil my party mandate by sort of pushing the issue. But first and foremost, I do want to talk to people more about pressing issues. We are in the middle of a pandemic. We're in a housing crisis. Healthcare systems are under pressure, and there is a skills shortage as well in a lot of industries. And these issues, first and foremost, really are front of mind for me. So here to really have conversations with people and sort of gauge what the issues in the region and where I can really help.
How willing are you to go against some of that party pressure that you would feel from your own party, but then also, the Fisher's party that really crafted a pretty smart preferential voting deal?
Yeah, so we don't really owe anything to other parties that sort of put us in this position. Certainly as a minor party representative, when we talk about this there's electoral reform coming, and I'm not sure if your viewers are sort of aware of it, but Labor have came into the election saying, hey, we're not going to touch the regional representation and the makeup of the upper house. We have 36 members in 6 different regions, and regional WA does have a fairly good representation currently, and they have sort of backflipped after using myself as a bit of a scapegoat. Mark McGowan was sort of blasting me on a number of occasions and pointing at me as the reason that they're going to try and change the one vote, one value in the region, which is unfortunate. There is the conversation of group voting tickets and how I got elected, and I can't really defend that too much. I mean, I think the system needs to be reviewed, but it's unfortunate that that discussion is getting mixed up also with regional representation and the one vote, one value system which is in place. So you have the same number of members from regional and metro, and the metro obviously has a higher number of people, and so you have a different weighting for the regions. But as we all know, the regions and mining and pastoral, I believe, is the largest region for a political zone in the world. It's over 2 million square kilometres, and it does account for a lot of the GDP of WA and also Australia as well. And there are issues in achieving equality with the regions when we talk about health and education services to metro. And so I think it's unfortunate that we are potentially going to see some recommendations coming down and legislation that'll change the makeup of the upper house.
So with you and the seat that you've got, how much power would you actually have when legislation is passed to, say yay or nay to things?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. So Labor had a very big win, and I believe it was the largest sort of landslide victory for Labor in, the Australian election history, really. And for the first time in WA, they do have control of both houses. So really, in terms of blocking something, you need majority support in the houses to advance the bill, and Labor have the makeup. So essentially the upper house will echo the lower house, and bills will get pushed through. You certainly, in the upper house, it is the House of Review, so you are there to debate and scrutinise, saying that you can cause a fuss and really try and highlight things, but at the end of the day, if Labor wants to see something pushed through, they will. It is my job, certainly, to try and shine a spotlight on things that I see are an issue and that people raise with me. But at the end of the day, if Labor wants to do it and Mark McGowan is pushing for it, then we are going to see it, unfortunately, get bullied through both houses.
So I'll do a bit of a fire round with you and some of the key issues that we've been talking about for the community recently. You'll have about 10 seconds to respond. We'll try and cover as much ground. So we'll start with the hard border. What are your thoughts? Lift it, or do we continue in this way?
Oh, it is a contentious one. I think Mark McGowan needs to commit to a target to open it. Right now, he's being very fuzzy on it. Realistically, we are going to have to live with COVID, and WA is going to have to relax its border policy at some stage. It's a matter of when. Hopefully we can do that sooner rather than later, and obviously we need to get vaccinated and so we can get back to normal.
Gun laws, are we going to ease them, or are you happy with how they are right now?
Gun laws are very restrictive. I think it's a classic case of WA being like a nana state and just being over-regulated and over-expensive in their laws and their policy. So certainly I think we need to lower these fees and make them less restrictive for people that have a legitimate reason, and regional WA and in the bush is one.
In recent news, we've obviously watched the situation unfolding in Afghanistan. Looking at kind of the macro, we know that we have immigrants of all sorts coming to Australia. We've also got the situation where you've got like mining graduates that are just getting job offers thrown at them because these mining companies are saying they don't have skilled workers. Are we doing enough in a community like Kalgoorlie Boulder, where you have very technically savvy people working as taxi drivers, to actually capitalise on the migrants that do move here?
I don't think so. And I think one issue that certainly has been raised and highlighted in the recent days, speaking to people in Kalgoorlie, is there's a lot of vacancies for positions, but there's not enough housing to accommodate them. And that's an issue we're seeing WA-wide. And the government really needs to allocate more land and use that infilling a bit more smartly to provide more houses so we can actually fill these jobs. Kalgoorlie's booming, it's doing really well. Like gold is doing really well. There's some more facilities coming on board as well. But unless you can house them, it is going to be a missed opportunity.
Wilson Tucker, Daylight Savings member for the Mining and Pastoral Region.